So hello everyone. It is me, Demetra Kaye, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner and the Black Spider-Man. He says it's not quite Venom yet. It is the Black Spider-Man. Okay. So you might be wondering why you can't see me, because Donovan hasn't seen me yet either, and I want to see his initial reaction. But I should say before all that, the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are a great people, but we can always strive to do better. Also want to say that we are not live. We'll be back live later. This is just a podcast where Donovan and I get to chop it up. Today, we're going to talk about ex-NBA basketball star Joe Smith and his wife and the curious situation he finds himself in. Donovan, are you ready? Here we go.
Ready. I'm ready. Wait a minute.
Who am I? Who am I?
This is Mahogany.
Yes. Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the
That's
things
Mahogany.
that life is showing you?
I know my stuff. That's Mahogany. Yes.
I started to call you and tell you to dress up like Billy D, but I was like, I don't want to ruin it. Okay.
That's Mahogany. Yes. Yes. So, classic movie.
I have to tell y'all how this came about, okay? So I was like, I said I was going to show up dressed as something, but what I didn't know. Now, mind you, my daughter, she had her hair braided and stuff, and she had this as a hairpiece on top of her braids. And it was in a bun, actually. She's like, I don't want it. She threw it in the trash. So then I woke up this morning and I said, And I put it on top of my head. I was like, it's giving mahogany. And so then my daughter and I, we put it together, and this was the palette, if you will.
Yes, yes. You got the bat wing eyelashes, all that. Yes, yes.
Okay.
But see, what you got to do is you got to play the part. Now, here's the part. Now, everybody knows the famous part, but you got to play the part like this. I'm a success. I'm a success, Brian, and you can't stand it.
Exactly. And Deanna said that movie was longer than it needed to be. So anyway,
it was directed by Barry Gordy, so he's going to give his thought all the time she needs.
Right, because don't they got a child together?
They did. Her oldest child is for Barry Gordy.
Look just like Barry Gordy. But I'm glad that you got this was mahogany and not somebody drunk auntie or something,
Right after that, I said mahogany. Right after that. Right after that. Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it.
I sure did. I started to tell you to dress up as Billy D, but I was like, nah, I ain't gonna ruin it. Listen, I'm gonna say this too, sisters, my dear sisters. I don't know how y'all do all of this with the eyelashes, and it's like, my other daughter per se, she's like, you won't be able to notice it, because when I first put these things on, my daughter put them on. I was like, damn, all I could see is the eyelashes. I really don't notice them anymore. So she was right.
Yeah, because of the weight. You got to get used to the weight on your eyelids.
All of that is like. So anyway, what's going on?
And real quick, the crazy thing is when you're getting your back blued out, the eyelash goes over here.
Damn. Maybe I need to try that out. I'm just playing. As you can, I was wondering too when I put the boss. Is that going to confuse him when I said the boss? As is why one of her albums, The Boss.
Yes.
Yes. Ooh, yeah, we could be here for days with Diana Ross hits, but anyway.
Let's get to this another NBA fool who.
And Donovan, you're gonna have to fill us in about the lady, but I'm gonna give y'all the spiel, okay? So anyway, this particular story coming to you guys. If we didn't already say why we looking like this, it's Halloween. We don't look like we on, as Donovan said, Bissonnette every day. So anyway, This particular story is about that of ex-NBA star Joe Smith. I guess he played for the Lakers for some time.
No, he was a #1 draft pick for the Golden State Warriors. He was supposed to be the future of the NBA. Went #1, played for 12 NBA teams over his career, and unfortunately, like a lot of brothers that come from certain neighborhoods and whatever circumstances, didn't know how to manage his money, and $60 million over his career, and he basically right now is living check to check because he didn't pay his taxes.
Right. And so what you guys are about to see is some sort of a revelation to him. Y'all ready for this? Let me stop my screen here. Okay. I'm sure you guys have seen it. I have to take the liberty to edit this out because they was dropping some F-bombs.
The minute I saw her face, I knew who she was.
And Donovan is going to tell us all about it in just a minute. Okay. Here we go.
Just finding out you got an OnlyFans page. Out of all these years, the disrespect that comes with it, that you could even talk to me before you did it, that's bullshit, yo. That's fucked up, Keisha. I'm telling you, that's fucked up.
Wait, no, calm, but you're not gonna say me, or that's not fucked up.
You recording me? What you doing?
Listen, it's not fucked up, and we're going to, okay, look, so I have an OnlyFans page, and he's mad because he's just now finding out about it.
Of course I'm mad at you just finding out about it.
I'm not doing it with anybody but myself, so why should I have to tell you my choice, my body, my choice?
Your partner, you're supposed to come to me and talk to me.
Joe, I've been talking to you about mad things. I've been asking for solutions to shit. You're not giving me none, so I created one.
There's no solution. Not in my book. That's no
You
solution.
knew who the fuck I was when you met me.
Before,
yeah,
I knew that.
I thought that I would never have to go back to anything like this again.
Beforehand,
but
but
unfortunately, that's not the case right now.
After that, everything's supposed to change.
Everything did change.
No. Obviously, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't. I had to do something.
It hasn't. You stood out there showing your body. You stood out there doing stuff like this on camera.
You act like that's the only thing that I do. I have mad jobs, but they're not facilitating everything that needs to be done. So I got something extra. OnlyFans be breaking me off.
Come on, Keisha. It don't matter what they breaking you off. It's the disrespect that comes with it.
What disrespect?
You couldn't come to talk to me about it.
Okay, well, we're talking about it now.
Because I had to find out on the fly.
All right, then. But now, okay.
No,
so, wait.
I had to find out on the fly.
So now you know.
Yeah, now I know.
Okay. And so? Whatever. I've been doing what I have to do, period. Like, that's bottom line. That's what it is.
Chat, hold on. in my Diana Ross / drunk auntie voice, child. Do you know where you're going to? Joe, do you like the things that life is showing you? So, Donovan, who is this young lady?
Okay, this lady's name is actually, her last Chavez. Her last name is Chavez. I remember that. But her stage name is Yasmin Pendavis.
Pendaris?
Pendavis.
Oh, Pendavis.
Yeah. She goes back. Now, this lady's about 52 years old. She's in our genre. Now, people are going to say, well, Donovan, how do you know all this stuff about this young lady? I had friends, young lady friends, that entered the adult entertainment industry. And as we know, back in the day, the adult entertainment industry was located in Burbank, California, which is not far from where we live, right? So they made these decisions to go into this business. Now, this woman's videos back in the day was not for the faint at heart. Okay. She was doing stuff kind of, not that it's revolutionary, but in the industry, you had to pay a little extra money to do a little extra stuff on screen. She was doing it straight out. And it's not for the faint at heart. She was a very well-known person. And then, of course, she left the business. And the little backstory here is her and this young man got together and got married in 2018. And she was actually on that show, Married for the Dress. Remember that show? where the people are getting married and the girl is going out
I'll
to the
say yes to the dress.
Yeah, yes to the dress.
Oh, okay.
She was on yes to the dress in I think 2017.
Yeah, I see that right now.
And I mean, notice in that clip, he said, well, that was before. He was well aware of her past. He was well aware of what she did. And he married her anyway. So fellas, and I know ladies are saying it don't matter, whatever, her body count don't matter. It does matter to men. He's going to be clowned by a lot of his friends, which he probably already was when he got married. You can't turn a hoe into a housewife. This is exactly what we mean by you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. Now, if you notice in that clip, the house that they had, it was a big house, but it wasn't a mansion. And she's probably used, notice she said she had a lot of jobs and stuff and, whatever. And I come up with a solution, whatever the deal is. This woman helped this man go through $60 million and put them in the situation that she is, and she's still hungry for more. Here's my opinion on this whole video skit, if you think about it. What is the quickest way for people to Google you and look you up, especially for your past, to get the likes up and get more people to your OnlyFans? Is to expose who you are and say, hey, I'm so-and-so and so-and-so, and I used to be a big player back in the day. So right now, people are blowing her up and wondering, well, who is this woman? Who is this woman? Who is this woman? I will tell you this. It's very hard to find her videos. Their videos are out there. It's just very hard to find them. But they're out there. And right now, to me, this is a money move, in my opinion, so that whatever money she needs or they need, they're trying to get it. Yeah, he's upset, but I really don't think so. Because when a man knows that he wifed up a former 304, he knows what he gets. So I don't think he's as upset. Because think about it. If he was really upset with her, why is he talking to the wall? He should be talking to her in her face.
Well, he didn't know she said that she was recording.
Yeah. So, but okay, let's say he didn't know she was recording. It still doesn't matter. If you were my wife and I found out that you went back to what you were doing, I would still be up in your face. I would still be up in your face and telling you this is unacceptable and this is what you're going to do. So, dude, like they super chicken. Fred, you knew the job was dangerous when you took it, Fred.
I was just looking up a couple of things here. I was saying how old she is. She's in her 40s from what it's saying.
No, she's 52. She is 52.
Ooh. Okay, so I was looking at her net
Trust
worth.
me, I know that. She's 52. She's a year behind me.
Okay, Lord have mercy. There's my eyelash. Y'all gonna see me fixing these mugs. They making me look like I had a hard night on Bissonnette. For those of y'all don't know what Bissonnette is, it's the boulevard in Houston. Okay? When I say the boulevard, I mean, she worked hard.
The Blade. It's the Blade in Houston.
Right. All right. So, as y'all saw, that was Joe Smith and his wife Keisha, and it sounds like unbeknownst to him, and that was the discovery when he was telling her about it in the kitchen. He found out that she was on OnlyFans. For those of y'all who don't know what OnlyFans is, it is a sort of like a back page type of thing where people get on there to do some little strange things for the change, which is why she says, well, I'm just on there with myself, because a lot of times, and I've been on OnlyFans, but I understand. I did see a documentary about it. It's like porn, for lack of better words, on there. So you can be on there with another person, and it's a pay per view type of thing. So she says, I'm on there by myself. I'm not with anybody else. It's not really a big deal. She also said, it's my body, my choice. It's my body, my choice. Okay. And then obviously y'all heard him protest there. And she's also says, I didn't know any other solution, right? Because the solution is, sounds like, as Donovan said, they are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, over his career, says that he had like over $61 million, but maybe it was like he had about 18 million or so when they got together. Now, it sounds like he went into debt because he had a lot of real estate, just, the usual stuff, blowing the money. And like it was, like you're going to always have more. So, of course, he's living paycheck to paycheck. She also said, which I thought was very telling, you knew who I was when you met me. Don't get brand new, but to me, what I also heard her say is, You knew who I was. So as Donovan says, she's got this lifestyle. She was a porn star back in the day, all that other stuff. But I also heard her say, without her saying, is, I mean, you probably blew a couple of bags on me. You knew that I wasn't just a Walmart chick. No shade to people at Walmart. I was just there earlier getting this tacky makeup. But I'm not a Walmart chick. I'm a Hermes. I need to be at the, but whatever it is, they shop at it. So you knew who I was. And so she was also saying is, I need to help out. Like, we need to bring some money in here. Now, my thing is this, Keisha, was you bringing the money in for y'all because he didn't know about it, or was you bringing it in for you? Now, I looked and it said her net worth was around $125,000. Now, she's used to having this big time lifestyle. $125,000 is nothing. And it also sounds like he was taking care of her, that she wasn't, paying any bills or whatever. It's his wife. He had all this money at the time. As Donovan said, it sounds like she helped him, blow through the money. So, of course, we've seen a lot of conversation online about this because it's just all over the place. And wow, I see people on both sides of the conversation. One saying, well, he knew who she was. And the other one is, as Donovan said, she's a 304. And, other people, how dare her? And, he's a simp and she has no respect for him and all of that. And so I have a lot of opinions about it. I guess we'll, go through them as we go. But I guess, Donovan, I'm going to ask you, if they're broke, because it sounds like they're broke. And her profession, and that was her profession, was, laying on her back, putting them up in the air, for lack of better words. And she's like, well, damn, let me go and put these glittery stilettos, like glittery, like my background, these glittery stilettos back on and make it do what it do. Do you blame her? Can you blame her?
Yes, I can blame her. Number one, you're married now. So you're supposed to take on a different life and, and be there for your husband, whatever. Now, everybody, the funny thing is, when we look at these MC Hammer type people and these entertainers, when they're broke, they're not broke like ordinary people broke, okay? You saw that house. That's broke into the entertainment thing. That house, to me, is bigger than my house, and I'm an average person. You see what I'm saying? So we got to take it out of context with that. But when you're a 52-year-old grandmother, most likely, and you're going to put the stilettos back on, it's just like that Kenny Rogers song. You got to know.
Click, baby.
Right. You got to know when to hold them. Know when to hold them. And don't get me wrong. She's she wasn't in the adult industry very long, but in the short period that she was in there, she was prolific. So she's probably living off of that. And you can look at her. I mean, like I said, I recognized her immediately because, I recognized her, but she looks like a 52-year-old woman. Now, if it's the nostalgia thing, she's probably going to get a few bucks and people are going to look her up.
That was my next question, Donovan. Who the hell is paying to see her on OnlyFans?
Yeah, right, exactly. You see how tall Joe Smith is. He's been busting it out. And if you see some of her videos in her early days, they were busting it out back then too. So I'm not saying her stuff isn't all that, but again, it's been beat up mercilessly. Nobody wants to see a grandmother type chick like this go through it. I mean, you can look in her face and you can see that she's a 52-year-old woman. The wig was kind of dusty, and
dusty as this? Was it as dusty as this one?
No. Yours is way better. But you can tell, somebody that has a little bit of money would do that. And then her net worth, if you look up a lot of adult entertainers, that net worth of theirs is not true. They don't make that kind of money. Back in the day, and even today, if you do a scene, and remember, you got to have a name. Now there's even no name. They're just running through these girls.
Yeah, Vivid Video don't know what to do nowadays.
Right, exactly. You got to build up your name and become a legendary type person. She's not worth no 180 something. $2,000. Back in the day, they would pay you $1,000 or $2,000 for a scene, and that was it. The producers, Vivid, a lot of people would cut that scene up and put it in different compilations and make a lot of money off of that one scene. So, for 52 years old, she looks good for 52, but ain't nobody going to be spending no money on a 52-year-old woman to see her bust it open. And here's another thing about OnlyFans, and don't get it mistaken. It is a porn type site. yes, men are going to spend money and people are going to spend money to see you do things for the change. But the more the change, the more the strange are going to be willing to do. Thus, you see women going out to Dubai to do things out there. How do you think those Arab princes are hooking up with these girls? Through the OnlyFans app. So as a married man, I can see what Joe is saying. Like, it's going to lead to other things because obviously money is her motivator. So it's just a matter of time before she's going to, hey, Joe, I got to go out to my girlfriends. We're going to go to Dubai and just hang out. He'll be like, oh, what? See what I'm saying? So again, for the guys that want to do it, you do it. But right now she's getting notoriety, but it's going to die out. Nobody's going to waste their time with something like this.
See, when I saw it, I was like, to me, she seems, I don't think that she switched up. Now, maybe she wasn't, doing OnlyFans because they had some money, but for her to get on OnlyFans and she's like, what else was supposed to do? Sounds like it's really tough around there, right? And so I'm wondering too, what is he doing? And how did he find out that she was on? I mean, obviously, if she's got a name for herself as she used to, somebody was probably like, ain't that Joe Smith's wife clicking her heels up in the air or whatever the case is?
You don't think these basketball stars are like, I hit it and you hit it and you married it? You know what I mean? They're buddy. They pass these women among each other. I mean, come on. Look what Kobe and Karl Malone hit on Kobe's wife. Things of that nature. I mean, that's the industry that they're in.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just because I know the initial reaction online is to she's a 304 and which that sounded like it was a secret. Duh. I mean, to me, being a porn star is the highest level of 304ing you can do. You know what I mean? So I don't think that was an epiphany to him. I think he sounded more hurt because it's like, wow, I brought you up out of that lifestyle. But then the other thing is you brought her up out of the lifestyle and whatever reason. And see, this is why I tell you too, Donovan, be careful, okay, of who you bring in your life because they can turn you upside down, round and round. And yeah, that was a Diana Ross reference if y'all didn't know, okay? You bring that woman into your life, okay? You doing all right. You got, $18 million. That sounds like you can live off of that. You bring her into your life. And then she shoveling it out the back door, And that's why I said for men, y'all really do got to be careful who you bring in the house because that woman, is she going to help you keep that 18 million? She going to say, okay, boo-boo, you got 18 million. Okay, let's grow it. Let's invest it. Let's do this. Let's do it. I don't need no Hermes bags, no Birkin. I don't need all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or are you bringing in a gold digger or somebody who don't care about you? And I don't know if she was a gold digger, but I'm sure she didn't marry him because he was just Joe Smith, right? Sure, she kind of knew who he was too. So y'all, and then Donovan, we know people too who may not have had Joe Smith money, but they've had money and they're like, let me go on back to work because of who they married.
Well, the thing is, I'm not trying to stereotype or anything, but women that make a decision to go into the adult industry to make money, they're gold diggers. I'm sorry. Because what in your humanity would make you sell your body for what? It ain't like, I have yet to meet an adult entertainer. I know a lot of them. An adult entertainer that said, okay, I went into the adult entertainment industry and I lifted myself up in my bootstraps and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing this.
There's a few. There's been Jenna Jameson.
Well,
she's rare.
That's white. That's a totally different animal.
Heather Hunter.
Well, Heather Hunter, she got out and she has her own little photo thing. But what I'm saying is, and she ain't got no kids and she ain't got nothing like that. You'll see a lot of these women that will go, especially in our community, that will go into these entertainment, like your Sukianas and your typhoid red, hepatitis red and stuff like that. Because they're trying to feed their kids and stuff. And yet they do it and then they stay in it. You know what I mean? They don't leave because it's a money thing. And then they make all of this money, so-called money. And then here it is 30 years later. And this woman went back to OnlyFans. And do you know what I think it is? Especially with the older women our age and our age group that were in the porn industry in the early 90s. they're kind of jealous at the fact there was no OnlyFans back then, because
Oh,
remember,
they have to get out the mud.
yeah, because back then, remember, it's about the control of the resources. With OnlyFans, you're the product, you control it. But when you sign a contract with Vivid, they control the product. So you didn't make a lot of money. Where now, you know what I mean? And so I wouldn't doubt, and I'm just speculating, she's looking at this like, wow, you know, I used to be somebody and I could get a quick bag because of my name, and I was in the industry. There'll be a couple thousands of dollars of guys that want to see me and say whatever happened to her and do that. But just imagine if there was a OnlyFans back then, you know how many women would have gone into that industry and, you know, controlled their own resources, basically. So that's what I think it is. She's like, let me get what I can get while I'm still holding it together.
Well, and the other thing too is, you know, some people will argue that doing that type of work is sex work is work. I've seen that, you know, argument a lot, trying to get it normalized. Because Donovan, you've been all over the world, and I know you've seen a whole lot of red light districts in your life. It's legal in a lot of places in the world. It's normal. Over here,
it's nothing shameful. It is nothing shameful. Sex work is sex work, period.
Yeah, so some people might look at it like that. Now, I don't know. And listen, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, okay? But if I'm Joe Smith, I wouldn't want my wife to be doing that. And then if you felt like you needed to go, because if that sounds like that's what she knows, right? She's a porn star. That's what she knows. But my thing is, I think she should have had a conversation with him. Hey, baby, you know what? We got 2 pieces of bread left up in this house. I'm going to have to go dust off the hills and make it do what it do. Do you mind? You know, because you obviously you met me when I was on the stroll to some degree. So listen, I could make a couple of bucks because I don't know what you got going on, Joey. You're taking too long to get some money up in here. So do you mind? So I think she should have had that conversation, but the sucker punch him, because I'm sure one of the homies told him, man, yeah, I think I seen your wife's hoo-ha up on the OnlyFans. You might want to talk to her.
But again, remember she said, my body, my choice. And I'm going to ask you a question about that real quick.
Okay.
But see, when even if she went to him and asked him for permission, you're going into dangerous waters, because even in other countries, even if the husband gives permission, that's called pimping, and that is illegal. You cannot do it. She has to do it of her own accord and whatever. And especially if you're married, you're not supposed to do it. Like you go to the Philippines, there's a lot of scams going on because it's more modern age, but they can get in a lot of trouble for doing that. But that's called pimping, when a man profits off of a woman's work. That's why in a lot of countries, there's no such thing as pimping. They'll lock the dude up quick and in a hurry. She's making that money. She's the one on her back. She's the one doing the work. She gets all of that money. They don't allow pimping. But let me ask you this as a question. Do you think when she made that statement, my body, my choice, I cringed? Because my understanding and my belief is when you are married, it is no longer your body, your choice.
So I think there's levels to that. I think there's levels to it. I think it's my body, my choice. Okay, I'm married, right? So it's my body, my choice when it comes to certain things, right? Because I've heard the argument, it was an argument online a couple of years back where it was, does a woman have, should she ask her husband before she cuts her hair? So a lot of women was like, no, I ain't got to tell my husband I'm cutting my hair, is my hair, blah, 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 blah. And some women was like, yeah, you should tell him. I was more or less like, yeah, I don't.
What are we supposed to hold on to if she cuts your hair?
Well, I mean, you know, maybe she got hot flashes or something. Because I told you, I be want to shave mine off all the time. And Donovan, you know, I have shaved my hair off a few times before. But anyway, my stance on that was, well, yeah, it's my choice and it's my hair. But if my husband likes my hair a certain way, I'm gonna have a conversation with her. Hey, babe, I'm thinking about cutting my hair off. What you think about that? Oh no, I like it. Leave the hair. I like it. Okay, you like that? Because then what happens is you cut your. I don't care. I'm cutting my hair off anyway. Then you forcing him to look at something that he's not attracted to now, right? Now I know the hairs, and I'm not talking about if you got cancer or something like that, because I know somebody probably gonna. What about if you got cancer? I'm not talking about you got cancer, okay? I'm talking about for cosmetic things. You cut your hair. I don't care what you say, sucker. I'm cutting it off. Now you got him looking at somebody he's not attracted to, and then he out there in the streets, you know, just looking at somebody who look like you used to, because you run around bald head, foot loose, and fancy free, and he didn't want you to be doing that. So yeah, I think you should have a conversation with it. Now, ultimately, is it your choice? Yeah, But I think especially if you with your man, you know what your man like. He don't want, the short hair or the wig, whatever it is. Now, my body, my choice when it comes to something she's talking about. Well, if you took the vows, you're supposed to cleave onto one another. You're supposed to make decisions with each other. So yeah, that your body belongs to him in that regards, but you are sharing it with everybody else. So you can't tell your husband, my body, my choice, but then you choosing it to share it with everybody else, because at the end of the day, you lay down in the bed with him. Now I know these dudes, they paying you a couple of dollars to see you, your wrinkled. Shut up. That's the Diana Ross talking, okay? And they paying you a couple of dollars to see that, but at the end of the day, you got to answer to him. At the end of the day, and if he says, shut it all down right now, as his wife, you should shut it down. I'll give you a perfect example. Aisha Curry. I know Aisha Curry. People like to drag Aisha Curry for whatever. She's married to Steph Curry. Well, I guess she was doing a little too much one time online. I don't know if she had on something that was scantily clad. Now, y'all know they big time Christians or whatever. And Steph said, told her, you need to knock it off or you're going to shut it down. And she knocked it off. And some people, I guess, took exception to that. Why, no, he's right. You doing a little too much. I'm going to need you to bring it down a notch. Otherwise, you're going to, we shutting all this down and you're going to come back up in the house and, and stay up off a line or whatever. So it depends.
I will tell you, there will be a lot of women that will disagree with you because they believe that it's a partnership. She can do what she wants, whatever it is. If you have those kind of thoughts, ladies, you shouldn't get married. You should get married because at the end of the day, a divided house cannot stand. This is why a lot of people keep breaking up, because you got a strong-willed person over here and you got a strong-willed person over there. And, a real man is going to stand on his thing regardless how he's going to do it. And it's not going to work out. Let me tell you, as a man, and most real men, when we get with our wives, we don't want anybody else seeing what it is that we should be seeing ourselves by ourselves in private. That's one of the reasons why we marry you guys, because we're like, oh man, I got to have this for myself, not for the world to share, for me and me alone. And a lot of you ladies, you guys think it's no big deal. It is a big deal. That puts a big thing in a man's psyche. I can't tell you how many dudes in the Middle East and in some of the situations I was in that got themselves hurt or killed because they're worried about what their woman is doing back home and all this other stuff like that. That's how much of an influence a woman has if a man is really in love with her or wants to be with her. It is a big deal to a man because, like I said, we're not out here sharing it. And you got to remember, to you and you ladies, it might not be a big deal. But when a man is shamed and I'm like, dog, I saw your girl, what was that big, remember Lawrence Fishburne, a good example.
Oh,
Montana Fishburne, she entered the adult entertainment industry. How much backlash did Lawrence get? He got a whole lot of backlash for something that he had no part of, but it was his daughter. And then it wasn't even the fact that it was the fact that she was doing porn. But look at how people scrutinized her. Man, what was all that? What are all those spots on her butt?
I think I think the problem they had is because it sounds like Lawrence kind of cut her off and, all that. So people were like, man, you got not that he had her out there, but it's like your daughter out here doing porn and you're very wealthy. And so I think that's kind of where the scrutiny came from.
Right. But what I'm saying, when she entered porn, what happened to her? They're scrutinizing her body, that she had spots on her booty and, she was an average person basically. And what happened from my understanding, I could be wrong. This is alleged. If you look up Montana Fishburne, you're not going to find not one video of hers online. Not one.
Did they reconcile?
I believe they did, but at a distance. I have seen pictures of them later on. She lives down in Florida, somewhere in Florida still, but at a distance, I believe they because she is grown. At the end of the day, she can do what she wants. But if you look her up, you will not find one video of her on there. And I heard, it could be wrong, Ice Cube purchased the rights or something to those videos and pulled them all off the line. That's what
nice. That if he did, that would be dope, and even more reason for the Auntie Diana to love some O'Shea. But anyway, all right. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate. How about this? Diana's advocate. Donovan.
Wait. If you're gonna be Diana, you gotta talk in the squeaky voice. I'm tired.
Right.
Classic movie, though. That's a classic movie.
That was actually my baby love, my baby love. Oh, by the way, I'm not drinking alcohol. This is a pre and probiotic drink. Okay, it's a healthy drink.
And for those that are younger that watch the program, Diana Ross is the primo diva. There was no such thing as a diva. There was no such thing as a diva until Diana Ross arrived on the scene. You had queens, Aretha and Dionne Warwick and people like that, but there was no diva until there was a Diana Ross. She is the supreme diva.
And I've brought her back to life. All right, so Diana's advocate here, Donovan. If Joe was doing a job as a man, his wife wouldn't be back out there clicking her heels in the sky.
Okay, here's my answer to that. Did not Miss Smith help him spend all of that money to put them in the situation that they're in?
But he didn't know how to tell her, baby, back up off the checkbook. Hand over the debit card, you're done. Like, what?
Yeah, no, and I agree with you, but you got to remember, you're dealing with men that are athletes that come from, and I'm not making excuses, but it's the age-old story every time. These guys come from meager beginnings, maybe from the hood or wherever they're from. Even though the father might not have been in their life, the mother wasn't giving them economic education either, how to spend, and how to do their, like my mom gave me great economic.
Okay, he's 48 years old. He's 48 years old. So they've been married 5 years. So he roughly 43, 42 when they got together. I mean, all that time.
Well,
he ain't
and you got to remember, he got his rookie contract. He's been on all these teams. His story, if you look up his story, this man was spending, and like a lot of these athletes do, like they will never get hurt. That the money is just going to continue, and he fell into that trap. 2 cars, 3 mansions. When he lived in the different cities, he would get a mansion. He just fell into that trap. There was a 30 on 30 documentary showing that, especially in the NBA, within 5 years of retirement from the NBA, most NBA players that are black end up in bankruptcy because of the lifestyle that they try to lead. And he was one of those. And then he wasn't paying his taxes. So even if you got a max contract, let's say you get a max contract of $120,000. It's more than that now. Let's say $120,000. Demetra, from the numbers, you're not getting $20 million. You're not getting $120 million. You're getting 60. The government's going to take 40% of that contract. And these guys, their financial literacy is just so bad. And when you got somebody that's financially illiterate and you get with a money hungry type woman that lives a lifestyle that she can't even sustain herself, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I just think, obviously but then again, too, I'm going to just put this on out there. I don't think Joe is rare. I don't think he's rare in that, he's a man of some means. Even if he got a social security check, some of y'all dudes be doing the most for these women, right? Some of y'all dudes, spend your last dime, and then when it comes time to pay your rent or, your car note or whatever, it's like, but you didn't have a good time with old girl all month long. And then when it comes time to take care of responsibility. So I don't think he's rare. I just think he had more money to wine and dine and take her on these trips and, all this other stuff. And then, when they, we ain't got it. Then it's a surprise. So to me, it's not rare. There's a lot of men out there. Y'all just y'all might not be in the strip club, doing that, but y'all doing that with some of the women y'all dating. And as I said, as a good woman, you with a man, you're not going, and for our condemnation, it's not that, it's common sense too. as a woman, I wouldn't want to be with a man and just blow all his money. I'm not going to ask no man, to go buy stuff that's ridiculous. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. I know someone whose girlfriend, I've sent him to the store to buy some pet food. The pet food was damn near $90 for some dog food. $90 dog food. And I was like, well, did you do it? And he said, yeah. Cause I would have said, I'm sorry, kibbles and bits ain't good enough for your dog. You know what I'm saying? But when
that's expensive. Kibbles and bits is expensive, but go ahead. Yeah,
but when you in love, you might be, damn, $90. But when you in love and she putting it on you, then you're going to say, yeah, but then it come time for crunch time, like, damn, I sure could have used that $90. I need some gas in my car. But Fido eating better than you. So that's why I said that Joe is not rare. But the other thing I was really trying to say is a woman worth her weight as a woman. If you know your man ain't got it like that, why are you putting that kind of pressure on your man? You know what I'm saying? Why are you doing that? Why? Because $18 million sound like a lot of money, but going through it the way they was apparently going through, how long is that 18 million gonna last you? Most people will never see $18 million. Hell, all of my neighbors on this block probably won't see $18 million all combined in a lifetime.
And just think of your property tax that you pay every year for some of these mansions that these idiots get. It's crazy. But you know what, Demetra, I have a theory. Think about it. This was a so-called secret account that she had, OnlyFans, right? Would you surmise that she was executing an exit strategy to leave this man? Because why would it be secret if you didn't think about, hey, I'm going to build up my money, whatever, then I'm out of here, then I will get alimony and all the other stuff. I'm going to surmise that this was a parachute to get out of here. Because why wouldn't her husband know about it?
So what you're saying is it wasn't going to be an endless love.
No, what I'm saying is she was about to say, ooh, ooh,
no, that's what he was going to be saying.
Am I crazy? I mean, would you surmise that speculating that would be an exit strategy for her to set herself up before she bounces?
I mean, yes, but I would think that's probably what she was doing, because it's like, how much money can I stack before he find out? And will any of his friends or anybody who knows him really, be, and that's what I was like, okay, now that you told me my wife was on there, what was you doing on there yourself? What was you you knew that was my wife, unless she got some other name, I don't know, but I would imagine, like you said, she had to put her name out there to kind of get the draw from the people who are nostalgic about what she used to do back in the day. But yeah, I think that's very plausible that she was trying to stack up on it. You know how the old women used to do back in the day, child, when you go to, he give you $100 to go to the store, you better take 20 off for yourself. So yeah, I think that's what she was doing.
Because Joe, you turned my life upside down. Boy, you
turned me inside out.
I mean, what else could it be? Yeah, right. What else could it be? Everything. Look, notice there was no problems when the money was flowing. Now the man has money problems, and all of a sudden there's a problem. What else could it be?
He found out who the boss was. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we doing too much up here. But yeah, I mean, that's a very real possibility that she was stacking up on him, and then he just kind of, as they said, my daughter, she's really into Scooby-Doo. What would they say when they would get you caught, you foiled our
I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you.
You meddling kids, your meddling homies, Kaye, your meddling homies was in my OnlyFans business, and they told on me. So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably what it was. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't think that man was like I said, back in the day during Vivid Entertainment or whatever the case is, what's the chances of your husband buying a VHS, which you tooted and booted. But nowadays you're all over the internet. He was bound to find out. But again, fellas, I'm gonna say this. This is on y'all. This is on y'all because I'm telling you, one of these days I'm gonna come up with what's behind the booty. Now, he knew what these. I don't know how y'all do it for real.
Oh, trust me, he knew what was behind the booty. He knew. If he saw some of her videos and knew her back in the day, he knew what was behind the booty.
But did you have a strategy? Did you have an exit plan? Something? I don't know. Like, what was y'all doing? Just spending money indiscriminately? Just out there, just like. And you knew, again, like I said, that woman wasn't gonna be with you if you was Joe at Home Depot. You was at UPS. I don't know. They make a little bit of money now, so you need the UPS men. They a high commodity. But she wasn't gonna be talking to you if you were just some regular Joe Schmo. She wasn't. But so that is all. Somebody gonna get mad. That's on y'all, because a lot of times I know, and she's a little older than him, but typically that's not the case. Men will blow a whole bag on a woman that don't give a damn about him. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, a real woman ain't going to ask you to take her to Morton's every night or every week. The Morton's is our anniversary, especially if we kind of everyday average working people. I'm not bringing an Instagram life and telling you need to take me to Morton's and Ruth Chris and all that. No, we can go to the Sizzler. I know it's closed now, but you can take me to the Sizzler. We can get all you can eat, scrimp and all that other stuff. But as a man, y'all the head of the household and leader, all that, man, I'd be like, listen, Alpha, you better sit yourself down somewhere. I order you a purse on Amazon that comes close to what you want. But if you want to interested in being with me and us not having to go to work and you going back to OnlyFans, then you need to, understand this is the budget that we working with. But he just let her off the chain.
Yeah. You know what's sad? Even though that house wasn't a mansion, at least, from my understanding, what I saw, it's like a regular nice house here in California, whatever. She's not content with that. There's a lot of women, think about it. You have a regular house that's paid for. We should have a mansion, whatever. You got women that will leave a situation like that, go and get their own apartments or their own rental house or something, spend that money to do that, still looking for a baller or somebody in a mansion. Like I said, from that house, it was a big house. I would say that house looked like it had at least 4 to 5 bedrooms.
Do any of them have any children?
I'm very sure she probably does. He probably does too, from other relationships.
I would imagine they'd be grown, or they wasn't there at the time, but they were hollering back. I don't know, ladies. I don't know how y'all wear these eyelashes. Look how I look cross-eyed.
Clown. No, go ahead.
I mean, for real, trust me, when we come back on here live, I ain't gonna be like this, okay? Diana Ross got to go back in the damn closet or wherever she came from. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what I mean? I mean, to have a regular life, a lot of women, they are, like a lot of my friends that got caught up in the 90s where they bought a house, their starter house, and they got a bigger house and they got a bigger house. Now they're dealing with downsizing. Do you know how hard it is to offload a house without taking a loss? A lot of my friends are upside down in their houses.
Yeah, unless it just paid off or something like that. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I just to me, it's really disheartening to keep hearing stories like this, because all it takes is, but people don't court no more. They don't. I'm telling you, what I'm learning now is people mistake good sex and call it a relationship. Are you in a relationship? Or are you just having good sex? Because the relationship should entail a lot of things. Like, I lean on you and you lean on me, and all of that. But if you know what I'm saying, it's like a relationship is so much more. Now I know sex can cloud your judgment. Ooh, you have a love hangover. You know what I'm saying?
Right now, is that more on a woman's side or a man's side? Because a man is more sex.
You didn't catch it. You didn't catch what I said. I said you'd be having a love hangover.
Got it. I missed it.
Yeah. So you have the sweetest hangover I don't want to get over. I'm gonna tell you, that was my grandmama damn song. I'm gonna tell you, my grandmama barbecues, picnics, she play that. Oh, she wear that album out, which is how I know a lot of Diana Ross's stuff because of my grandma. But anyway, what was I saying before I got
the
this
love hangover? It's more of a love hangover with the sex.
I mean, you letting it cloud your judgment. You know what I mean?
Well, you know. Now, my question is that more of a woman thing or more of a man? Because to men, it's sex. We don't really care about if you give us a relationship or not. If we're getting the sex, we're going to take the sex because we know that you women like, I want myself.
Hey, ooh, hey,
all over his body.
Yes.
Who produced that song? Who produced that song?
That had to have been, don't tell me. Michael
Jackson produced that song.
Yes,
wrote
Michael.
And produced that. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think it's for both people. I think the sex clouds the judgment for both people. Now, if you have more to lose in a situation, then you should probably be the one thinking more about it. You know, am I going to jump into bed with this person, get all foggy and, cross-eyed about what we're doing here, and then I wake up one day when the sex is not good anymore, and then I don't have any money, or my house is in default, or I didn't spent more money than I was supposed to. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, as I say in the nation, they say take the relationship to court, so you can settle down to a good choice, not settle down to some good booty or some good cucumber or whatever. You're supposed to get all that out the way, but people aren't doing that anymore. So I would imagine that's what it was with him. Maybe she still had little tricks up her sleeve and she could make curl his toes back and all of that, but that wears off after a while, and then it's the same old, as Walter said, same old cracker.
Exactly, it's the same old cracker. But it's unfortunate that in our minds, we always think we're young and we don't plan for the future. Do you know how many people I know that had all this money in the 90s? Or like I said, I know a lot of adult performers. They don't have nothing. Matter of fact, I was on Atlanta Street Interviews. I saw 2 former adult female performers that were homeless. They had kids and all this other stuff. And they were on meth or they got on drugs, whatever they were doing. And the sad thing is, if you got into the adult entertainment industry and you didn't have a vice, for some reason, people get in there, they have a vice, and it never ends well. Show me a movie where you're doing anything and you did drugs or whatever and everything worked out. It never works out. And it's the same thing in life. They don't even make movies like that in Hollywood. That shows you how unreal it is to think I can do all these drugs and nothing's going to happen to me. It might have happened to her. It might have happened to him, but it ain't going to happen to me. It's going to happen to you. And people, for some reason, they glamorize, you see the video back in the 90s, the production and everything. And it was a production. But it's entertainment. It's not real. These people are not living these real lives. You're not making that money. You're not making, like I said, you got rarities. Jenna Jameson, what's that one girl? She's out now. She keeps getting mad. Khalifa, what's her name?
Pinky
Khalifa, things like that. Heather Hunter is a exception as well. She got out of the business and still doing well, but she never had kids. She never married. So these situations. But it's funny how they glamorize this industry that you're going to make all of this money, and it's just not true. When you're out there having sex on camera for money, you are a 304. That's just cut and dry what it is, because a normal person will not do that. And for the fellas, it's not about really shaming the women and what they're doing, because sex work is sex work. The fact of the matter is, you've been told by your mothers you can't turn a hoe into a housewife, and you know that.
Yeah, and that's why you need to stop in the name of love before she breaks your heart.
Or you can't hurry love. No, you just have to wait.
Hey, yes. Yes.
So many songs that tell you about relationships.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't hurry love. You know, you can't hurry it. Keep looking. She's out there.
Ooh, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You know what I'm saying?
And sometimes you got to look at yourself. Reflections of the way things used to be. Reflections of. Come on.
Right. You know, and listen, I do know people who are in the adult, or they were, because they all OG now. I know people who was in that industry and they didn't come out rich, because that lifestyle, it has a lifestyle, right? You got to spend a lot of money that make it look like you got it like that. You know, you got a nice shiny car and the clothes and the wigs and the lifestyles and the bottles, but nobody ever talks about retirement for a hoe. Oh, I shouldn't, a 304. Okay, Diana would never say those words. Okay, retire. Is there a retirement plan for that? Do they have like a 401k, a pension, Roth IRA? Do they? I mean, you know what I'm saying? You often hear about them having it rough, and I ain't talking about when they was on screen, but rough after the. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. And we always hear people in that lifestyle. Oh, I was just doing it so I could pay for school, and I'm going to school to be a nurse, and you ain't never ever, only nurse you saw was when you was getting, your penicillin shot.
Well, I can say this. There has been some stories, and I'm going to say I know one person that is of our persuasion and comes from our community, a Black woman, and she was prolific in the 90s. And guess what she does now?
A school teacher.
She is a trauma surgeon. She took the money, she had her plan, and she executed it. She's a grandmother now and all that other stuff, but her videos were.
She rare, okay?
She is a trauma surgeon, and you will be surprised. You might be in the ER somewhere, and she might be the very person that might be working on it.
Yeah, she's rare. She's rare because, like you said, a lot of them end up homeless, and you do a where are they now? They a waitress at Denny's. Hi, can I take your order? You look very familiar. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it was funny because I saw her on, I think it was Instagram or somewhere. I saw her, and I was like, wait a minute, I know her. The face. I recognize, because I met some of these people. And so instead of embarrassing her, because she's a professional now, I direct messenger and I said, hey, da 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 da. I don't know if you remember me, but aren't you so and so and so? And she was like, oh my God, yeah, hey, you're that. And we started, touching base, and we're talking on thing right now. And I never yeah, but I never alleged, or we even talk about that. We talk about today and where she's at and the great job that she's doing. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
that's the only story I know of.
It is rare. It's rare. So, back to Joey boy, it's like, man, you sitting up there, and then he mad because you're recording. It's like, why are you recording him? What are you doing here? That's why.
What I think when women record like that, and you see a lot of women doing this now, it's to get the sisterhood behind them to kind of pump them up a little bit more that they're in the right. That's what I think all that really is about.
I'm gonna just say this, okay? This is my opinion really on the whole thing. When I saw it, I was like, okay, because I'm one of those people, like I said, I like to look at the whole situation as much as I can. Now, I think she was dead wrong, because I think that's the question that was posed in that particular video. Was she wrong? She was dead wrong, because there's a lot of things you could do. Amazon hiring. It's Christmas season. Walmart is always looking for people. DoorDash, Uber. You know what I'm saying?
Post office is hiring. The airlines are hiring.
You could have got a YouTube channel or something. You got a name for yourself, and you could have said, hey, ladies, listen up. There's no future in this. Like, that kind of lifestyle is in the moment. You're not going to save no money. You're going to have ballers and all type of people whining and dining you, because I don't care. Y'all men is nasty. Y'all nasty, and y'all don't care if she was a porn star. Y'all want her because, like, damn, I saw what she could do with that golf ball, right? So I want to see if she could do it with me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what she should have done. There is no future in this, but she was wrong. For one, you should have told the man that that's what you were going to do. It sounds like they've been having arguments about money, so it doesn't sound like that was a secret. But the other thing, as I said, there was other things you could do. But if you really loved your man, you wouldn't be trying to humiliate him for one, him finding out behind your back, and then you recording him when he's obviously in distress. Like, damn, I didn't know you went back to the field. You know what I mean? So she wrong.
Well, I think it's not only he's shocked at the fact that she went back to the field, she's keeping the money. He didn't know nothing about it. You're bringing money in and you didn't. Where's the money?
You know what I'm saying? It's like, when I think of home, I think of a place where...
That's Stephanie Mills' song, but she did it in The Wiz. I'll give it to her.
Right. Trust me, I know Diana Ross was in The Wiz, and I think The Wiz is leaving Netflix today, too. Not that I haven't seen it a million times already. You know what I'm saying? Right. But yeah, so it's like, well, she's wrong. She was never going to tell that man. That man was going to suffer, live a quiet life of desperation, trying to figure out how to put food on the table and keep the roof over the head. And she out there, bending it like Beckham on OnlyFans. It wasn't even going to tell the man, was you putting the money in the account? Well, like, what was going on? Clearly she wasn't. So listen, y'all been married. Joe, if you see this is Demetra Kaye. I know if you see Diana Ross. If you see this, you might want to rethink some things. Now, I don't know how much money you got left. Don't sound like it's a lot. But you need to get somewhere with somebody and say, okay, how do I liquidate most of the stuff? And then most definitely liquidate her black ass, because she can't come with me.
But wait a minute, though. She was working overtime, dedicated to you. She's going to start crying.
What? She was working overtime, but she wasn't dedicated to him, okay? You know what I'm saying? And my thing too is, sister girls, like, you on OnlyFans and you can get a better wig. You looking roll hard and ready. I know I'm looking roll hard and put away wet right here, but you looking really roll hard and put away wet. Like, I want to do an expose, and I'm gonna talk to the men and the women that's paying her. I want to know why.
Well, here's the thing, though. At 52 years old, how much traction does she think she's going to get? And then this goes back to the theory that you and I always talk about. This is why our young women are going so far astray, STDs, because nobody's checking them, because the older women are competing with the younger women. That is one of the biggest problems we have. You can't, if the older women are competing with the younger women and won't give up the ghost, why do you think you've got these younger kids looking at Typhoid Red and Sukiyana and thinking this is the way to go? And it's not, because our older women are competing with the younger women.
And, I've decided it's a conscious decision to dress more appropriately. Now, listen, when women back in the day was 52, they looked 72. You know what I mean? They look like this, Glotadine. The Glotadine wig on, polyester, all that. I'm not saying you got to be doing all of that, but I'm a 52-year-old woman. Listen, I know, I don't look it. But we should dress accordingly, because like you said, who are those young girls looking up to? If women my age, you can see all the hoo-ha and everything else, when they out in the streets with you. I can't tell y'all, like, I hate going to Walmart. I really do. Because you see that. It's in a Walmart of all places, or everywhere you go. You see women just dress inappropriately. It's like, at your big old age, you still out here in the spandex. First of all, you look like a busted can of biscuits. That was me. That was Diana. That was not me. Demetra would not say no things like that. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. But y'all out here looking like that. And, if you got daughters or granddaughters, you are the teacher. You are the first teacher. You are the woman in their life that they're looking up to. So if you out there looking like that, then they gonna do it. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I don't remember my grandmother or my mom, either one of my grandmothers or my mom, tight pants on, you can all up in their cracks, and I never remembered it. So you're right. We as the older women, not older women, have to start setting the example, right? You know what I'm saying? We just have to.
you guys have to give up the ghost. I mean, you had a good run. I mean, how much fun can you have? That's why I got younger nieces, and I tell them when I was coming up, I knew, okay, I'm gonna have fun between this age up until I'm 30. When I got 30, with all my 12 degrees, I didn't start getting my degrees until I was in my 30s, because I was in the streets doing what I was doing, living my life. But when I hit 30 and the kids started coming, I said, okay, I got to settle down. I got to, I got to hurry up and get this, because I'm old now. I'm behind the 8 ball, and I did what I had to do. So when I look at women, and it's so sad that a lot of women are delusional. At 40 years old, you still think you're going to the clubs. Like right now, I like going to the club, but not like a club. I'll go to a lounge or something that's really slowed back. I don't dance like that, like I used to, whatever the deal is. And when I see women that are like in their 40s going down to these clubs in Miami, and you're competing with the 20-year-old, I'm looking at these women like, what are you doing? I mean, yeah, you might still be attractive, but you're 40-something years old.
Yeah, I mean, what would Diana do?
Well, besides telling Barry, I think the name should be Diana Ross and the Miracles.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
And Barry, she's not doing this. And Barry, she's not doing that. And
right.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Barry's a prime example of what Coochie could do to you.
Tore up the Supremes.
Right. But ladies, Diana leveraged her power to her benefit. The problem is you guys aren't leveraging your power to your benefit.
And let me ask you this. When did it become Diana Ross and the Supremes? When did that happen?
I think it was 1968.
Wasn't y'all just the Supremes?
Yeah, they were just the Supremes. And then when it got out that she and Barry were having an affair and all that other stuff, that's when everything started changing. That's when you saw Smokey Robinson, the Miracles, such and such, and everybody started Martha Vandell and the Vandellas. Martha Reeves and the Vandellas.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know.
and if you guys know a lot about music, Demetra knows a lot about music. It is very hard to launch a solo career from a group. It's very, very hard to do that. It's very seldom people have been successful. Diana was successful. Lionel Richie was successful. Michael Jackson was successful. It is very hard to go solo from a group. David Ruffin tried it. He did okay, but he wasn't like a mega star, things like that. So it's very hard. But when you have the president of the label between your legs, you have a very good shot at going solo and being very, very, very.
Hey, you know what else she did too when she was with Berry Gordy? Reached out and touched somebody's man.
And even when she married that white guy that I think is Tracy Ellis Ross's dad,
yes,
her and Barry were still having an affair. He was still hitting it.
Barry, he
allegedly.
He had that barracuda, or maybe she had the barracuda. I don't know. That barracuda's a fish. I don't know why I was thinking something.
But you got to remember, what's the force behind the power? She had a song called "Force Behind the Power." Diana was, and all out of her songs,
we know now.
She was telling her story in them songs. I'm telling you, the force behind the power. She was saying, "Why do fools fall in love?" The remake.
Okay.
She told them.
Man.
Tell me, mirror, mirror, mirror.
Yes.
She's saying, "I'm it. This is it."
Woo, you gonna make my eyelashes fall clean off my face.
But great costume. I was surprised. That was really good. And you do look like Diana. So
I was like, okay. I didn't really have to spend that much money. This shirt my daughter had is actually a button-up shirt. And I was like, oh, let me turn it around. Just button me up from the back. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I haven't dressed up for Halloween in a minute. I don't celebrate Halloween quite naturally, but I think it's fun. I'm gonna come back and be myself because these damn eyelashes. Listen, sisters, my wig off to you. I don't know how y'all see how long these things are. Sometimes when I'm in the car and I look over to somebody else's car, I see their eyelashes. They just be
bat wings.
So I don't know how y'all do this on an irregular basis. I can't wait to just snatch them off. Plus, they make me look cross-eyed, and that's very concerning.
But before we get out of here, Madam, will you honor, love, and please that man?
I do. Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Remember Living Color Kim Wayans did it? It was like, yes.
Hey, listen. Mahogany knew where she was going, Kaye. She couldn't allow no man. Y'all don't care about your political aspirations. Was he trying to be city councilman or something like that? Listen.
Politics.
She was a designer and she got plucked up off out of the designing room. And, she's, do you know where you're going to?
Crazy Anthony Hopkins was like gonna kill her, and then she was in an accident and had the thing. Like, yes, look. He's driving the car like, yeah, let me see it.
You know what? I'm gonna try to find Mahogany, and I'm gonna watch it in honor of Diana Ross.
Yeah, I think it might be on YouTube for free. You might want to check it over there.
I think that's where I saw it, as a matter of fact, on YouTube.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Mahogany, a very, very good movie. You guys check it out. Diana Ross was at the peak of her power. And I mean, she played that role, going from a chick off the streets to the sophisticated runway model designer. I mean, it was a very, very good story. I enjoyed it very, very, very much. So.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. That was you know how many people name their kids Mahogany? Mahogany, sit your ass down, Mahogany.
But again, ladies, let this be forget the ladies, because ladies are going to do what they're going to do. Men, again, let me reinforce: you cannot turn a hoe into a housewife. She said it herself. You knew what I was when you met me. So, I mean, and that means you take everything that comes with it. If you got her off the streets, that's her mentality. That is what she is.
But you know what else she said before we get out of here? I'm gonna make you love me. Yes,
And she did. Like I said, if you saw some of her videos, I don't blame him for, falling out. I mean, the girl was legendary in the short amount of time she was in the business.
Yes, indeed. So, y'all, we'll be back here. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be legendary. And I'm going to be back to my normal self, okay? I'm going to take all this mess off my face. I'm going to snatch this wig off. That's how they be looking sometimes in the streets. You go in Walmart, look like they was like... Child, about to make some cornbread, but I done ran out of some eggs. And they go get the wig. Boop,
looking like Frederick Douglass.
Yeah, they throw it on the top of their head and be in the streets,
Can we just have natural? Please go back to natural, ladies. Go back to natural.
This don't look like it's mine. Don't look like it's natural.
Well, I'm a guy. I don't care.
I would just feel like I need to be drinking something all the time with this wig on, all this,
Well, I can tell you this: you do give vibes of your mom right there in the 70s. Some of the 70s.
I knew you was gonna say that. I knew you was gonna say that. And my mom, Diana Ross, my mom loved. You can say nothing bad about no Diana Ross. You could not say nothing. One time I did. I was like, Mom, she couldn't really sing like that, man. I ruled the day I said some shit like that about Diana Ross to her. But anyway, y'all, we will be back. Donovan, what you want to talk about? You want to talk about some more relationship stuff? You want to talk about politics? What?
Well, I do want to say this, and I think we could chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. They are saying, and here's a good question that's been out there: the Democrats within the Democratic Party, Joe Biden has lost 11 points since last month. In a month, the question is, if Donald Trump is still polling in double, and they're in a heat, and they're neck and neck, and they're both polling, really, really well, what's plan B for the Democrats if Joe Biden is not polling well against Donald Trump come January? I mean, what's the plan B? I mean, do we just ride this out and lose, or we just look at an alternate solution? And right now, the Democrats do not have an alternate solution.
Oh yeah, and for obvious reasons. What y'all know is going on over there in the Middle East is, man, Joe Biden numbers is a toilet.
Right, but you would think that would put his numbers up, and it hasn't. And
propaganda machine ain't working no more.
Yeah, I mean, people are just like, what is going on with the Democratic Party, and what used to work isn't working with the younger people. It isn't working. So
yeah. So I don't know. We'll figure out what we're gonna talk about, but I just want to know. We will let y'all know we'll be back at 5:00, and ain't no mountain high enough. When I say ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough to keep me from coming back at 5:00. In the meantime, y'all be blessed. We will see y'all in a few. Peace.